Hi, this is Danielle, the domestic scientist. Today's video is going to be a dining room makeover reveal featuring brand new lighting. So this crystal chandelier is a dupe for the 1920s crystal Odeon chandelier from Restoration Hardware. I happen to find this affordable find at Amazon.com from a company called Meelighting. And I'm going to talk a little bit about my brand new recess lights I had installed as well. So if you want to see the rest of this makeover, stay tuned. So this is what my dining room looked like around this time last year before I painted, and this is what it's looking like now, and the electricians are kind of working on it as we speak. And one of the things that I liked about working with the electrician is they don't just go in and start drilling holes in your ceiling. You do get a lot of input about where you want the lights to go, but they do give you recommendations about spacing. Now this room has a very square ceiling, so I want all four of the recessed lights to kind of have a nice square shape. As you can see, that's what we were able to accomplish. Now they do have to go up in your attic to kind of make sure that they can kind of cut there without cutting into the structural support. But this is looking so nice, and the recessed lights above the chandelier really start to help light get into the prism. So this is the crystal chandelier from Meelighting before I actually started hanging the crystals. This particular chandelier did come with light bulbs as well, so I thought that was really great. And as you can see, it has a pretty good amount of length that you can use to kind of adjust the height. Now because I have really tall ceilings, for me it's still a little bit short, so be sure to kind of measure out where the chandelier is going to end for you. And this is what it looks like without the lights on, and you can just see that there are 1,000,001 crystals on the chandelier, and you're definitely getting different flecks of color, especially a lot of violet is being given off, and I'm just loving the chandelier. Now when it comes to installation, the installation was really smooth. They didn't have any issues with it. It was pretty standard. The assembly was great, like the instructions were great, like there were no complications hanging the chandelier. And they did give you a single white glove, because when you are doing adding each one of the individual crystals to the chandelier, you don't want to get oils from your fingers on it because you don't want to make it dull. So overall, I would say that I'm really pleased with this chandelier from Meelighting, and I'm going to put a link to that the products in the description box below, as well as a link to the video, so you can kind of see me shopping for it on Amazon.com, and you guys will be able to check that out if you're interested in this type of chandelier. Now they do have multiple lengths, but I chose to go for a more moderate length because even though I have a large table, I do know that, you know, once I sell the house, you know, the next homeowner, you know, might not have a table quite as large as mine, so I didn't want to go too large. So I would definitely say that this chandelier from Meelighting is a great dupe for the Restoration Hardware 1920s Odeon Crystal Chandelier Collection. One of the things I will say is that the crystals are like more glass, and so they're a lot more lightweight than the ones at Restoration Hardware, which are made of like that lead crystal, which is super heavy. So if you were to get the one from Restoration Hardware, it would be a couple £100, and you would have to get additional bracing put in the ceiling, which is going to cost you extra money when you're hiring an electrician to install it for you. Now, being that these crystals here are more like a glass, it's a lot lighter, and this chandelier is under 50 pounds, and so I didn't have to get additional bracing in the ceiling, so it's definitely a great cost saver. And I would say that I'm very pleased with the chandelier, and if anyone is interested in it, I highly recommend it. So now let's get started with a tablescape. Alright, so some of you guys might be wondering if I got a new table, and the answer is no. I decided to switch out my dining room table with my kitchen table, and I did that to just add a little bit more cohesiveness to my house. I do have an open floor plan, and right across the way I have an office with a gorgeous scroll desk. If you haven't seen the review video on that, I have a chart house desk that I purchased at Value City Furniture, and I did post a review on that. And that particular desk really kind of aligns a little bit better with my dining room table, so I decided to do a little bit of a switcheroo. So originally I had purchased a dining bench for this table, and I was looking for a backless bench for the other side when I had it in the kitchen, but instead I decided to get rid of my dining bench and go with these beautiful dining chairs that I found at a local furniture store called Weekends Only Furniture, and I'll probably do a review about these chairs later. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and start with my centerpiece. Now, I have this beautiful black vase that I got from Home Goods, and this is from a Tahari Home piece, and I'm just going to put some white hydrangeas from Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to keep it really simple because today's video is really more about the lighting and the curtains and just kind of how the whole dining room is coming together, and a little bit less about the tablescape. Now, that being said, today's tablescape is going to be more of a mixed metal look. So this is one of my favorite vases, and I absolutely love the shape and texture, so I couldn't wait to use it for today's tablescape. Now on to the mixed metal look. So I have 4 silver placemats and 4 gold placemats. My table seats 8, so I am going to alternate them, and I'm going to do 2 different place settings for today. I do like mixing metals, but because my husband picked a chandelier for his office that has gold, and I do already have a lot of silver accents, I am going to start mixing metals in this room a little bit more than I normally do. So this will be my first stab at it. And so far, so good. And now I'm coming in with these champagne charger plates that I found online. These are super cute and affordable. And what I like about the champagne is this kind of part way between gold and silver, so it is going to make a nice blend. And so I love the way these placemats and the charger plates look on this dark background. And I also think that the champagne, because it's kind of partway between gold and silver, it kind of takes out some of the contrast of mixing metals. And after a while, you're going to see a completely blended look. Now, this is actually not my first mixed metal tablescape. I did post a video a while back, and I'll have a link to that as well, so you can check that out. But I find sometimes that the more metals you mix, sometimes it has a really seamless blended look. So I'm loving the way my dining room has come together. I think all of the elements just make the room look super elegant. I am loving the recessed lights because they add a nice soft glow to the room. It highlights the paint color and it hits the curtains just beautifully. And I think taking the curtains close to the ceiling was a really good idea and really makes the room look so regal. Now, when it comes to the chandelier, it adds just a beautiful glow and it adds a touch of glam that I'm absolutely in love with. And I think it kind of brings the whole room together. Now, I'm really loving these dining room chairs that I found at Weekends Only Furniture. I think they have just a beautiful deep espresso color, and it has just a little bit of texture on them. Now, when it comes to the upholstery is incredibly neutral, and so I think it's going to go with a lot of different looks that I like to create in my dining room. But I really was impressed with the dark brown trim because I think it lines up nicely with the dark matte black on the chandelier. So I think it kind of gives a nice cohesive streamlined look to the room. And of course, I think it accentuates my scroll base very nicely as well. And so this is kind of a shot from the side just so you can see how tall the curtains and the chandelier just make everything look. And the mixed metals are super neutral and very soft. So leave a comment in the box below and let me know what you think of my dining room makeover and my new chandelier from Meelighting. So I'm Danielle, the domestic scientist. I'm glad you joined me for today's video. If you like what you saw, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you next time.